What's up, everybody? In this video I'm going to do a super early review of the upcoming Moto G Stylus 5G. So this phone has reportedly is going to be on sale soon here in 2021. We're in just a short amount of time before we see this device, and it's bound to happen, and it's going to be a very special phone. So it's going to replace the Moto G Stylus, which the 2021 that only had a 4G LTE connection, and this is going to join the Motorola One 5G Ace, and they're very similar because they're going to be budget 5G devices, and this is going to really set this. What's going to set this phone apart is, well, obviously it's going to be Stylus. It's obviously going to have 5G, but it's going to be the only alternative 5G phone with a stylus going up against the Samsung Galaxy Note and the Galaxy Ultra. Now that LG has stopped making phones, that means there's no more LG Stylo phones. There was never a 5G LG Stylo phone, so this is going to be the successor to take over that section of budget phones with stylus included, and this should be a great phone. It's going to sell a lot. Now the reason is because it's going to be the only other alternative to budget or flagship to the Galaxy Note series, or any phone from Samsung. They're the only ones in the game really that are known for having a stylus on their phone. And let's see what the possible specs are going to be. More than likely, I'm going to go mostly off the specs that are on the Motorola One 5G Ace. So the phone's going to be, let's see, it's going to have a big screen. It's going to have either a 6.7 or 6.8 inch screen. It's probably going to have a 1080p display. It's fine, that's okay. It's probably going to launch with Android 11. For the chipset, now that's going to be up in the air, but more than likely I'm going to assume, since it's going to be a 5G chip, there's not a lot of 5G chips out there. It's probably going to have the Snapdragon 750G, which is the same on the Motorola One 5G Ace. For internal storage, that's going to be very interesting. The previous stylus, Moto G Stylus, that had 128 gigs of internal storage, which was a lot. Reportedly, it's going to have the Moto G Stylus 5G is going to have 256, which is crazy. That is wild. If this phone has 256 gigabytes of internal storage, that bests all phones, really. Even for flagships, even for iPhones, even for $1,000 phones, 256. That's a lot of storage. That's crazy. So if it has that, I'll be totally satisfied with that. Most people, it'll be impossible almost to fill up that storage. You won't even need a micro SD card slot. That's another thing. It's probably going to come with a micro SD card slot. If it does, that's even more of a bonus. Now for the RAM, there's some discussions that it might only have 4 gigs of RAM, but hey, in the grand scheme of things, 4 gigs of RAM doesn't sound too much on paper, but it gets the job done, especially on a Motorola phone where it's running a close version of a stock version of Android. I have no gripes with 4 gigs of RAM. That's more than enough for your everyday apps and usage, and your social media, and your entertainment, your Netflix, your YouTube, your podcast. That's probably gonna be more than enough. If it has 6, that's even more of a bonus, because 6 gigs of RAM is what's on the Motorola One 5G Ace. So who knows, if it comes out with 6 gigs, that'd be even better of a deal right there. For the main camera setup, you know what, I'm not really into camera specs so much. It's probably gonna have 4 cameras, like it's pictured right here. It's probably gonna the setup's gonna be either as a square, it might be in a line, who knows, but it's gonna have several cameras, 3 or 4. It's gonna have a big megapixel main camera. It's gonna have an ultra wide, and it's gonna have a macro and maybe a depth camera. One cool thing about stylus phones and Motorola phones that it's not really found on any other phones that I've seen or heard about is that you could record landscape video while holding the phone in a portrait view vertically. So I think that's something that's been overlooked. That's kind of convenient. That's something different that not other phones are offering, even flagships. So that's something to look out for, because that feature was found on the Moto 1 Action and the 2021 Moto G Stylus. And that's another thing about Motorola phones. There's so many different kinds and variants of Motorola phones. Motorola E, G, Edge. There's a million of these phones, and it's hard to keep track. But they all feel the same. They all have like the same feeling software, the same gestures. These are good phones. It's just so many of them, but they're all at different price points. It's kind of hard to keep up with these. You're probably gonna film up a video in 4K with these, which is good. Selfie camera, I mean, it's whatever. It's probably be 1080p camera. I don't care about the megapixels, honestly. It's probably gonna have a headphone jack. Awesome. Not a lot of people use them, but hey, it's there. You got your Bluetooth, probably 5.1. May or may not have NFC, which is, whatever. I really don't use my phone that much for NFC payments. That's mostly what it's used for. But hey, if you like it and it has it, it should keep you happy. USB Type-C, very standard. For the fingerprint reader, it's either gonna have a rear-mounted one like the One 5G Ace, or it might have a side-mounted one on the previous Moto G Stylus. It's probably not gonna have under the display, because that's for flagships. Usually that's reserved for $500 phones and above. For the battery, this is where I'm confident that this one's gonna have at least 5,000 milliamps of battery, because that's what the 5G Ace has, and that's the standard now for 5G phones, especially in more budget devices. The previous Moto G Stylus had a 4,000 milliamp battery, which is okay, but I'll be disappointed if it doesn't have a 5,000 milliamp battery. That's probably because it's gonna have a big screen. It's gonna, have maybe a little bit more capabilities using the battery with the stylus. This one's also gonna have like fast charging, not a lot, either probably 15 watts, which is, any type of fast charging is fine with me. Because this battery is going to be big enough anyways. And the last thing that I haven't mentioned is price. Now that's going to be key. Now Motorola sells all their phones fully unlocked from their website, but they're kind of, they're not expensive, but I can't really justify paying hundreds of dollars for these type of devices, for Motorola phones, if they're more than like $300 or $400. If they could get this phone for under 400 unlocked, that'd be great. But I'm really interested if this phone will be available on prepaid. It's for sure probably gonna be available on Metro, and I'm hoping it'll go to Cricket. Cricket's been sorely lacking more phones, more good phones, more interesting phones, because they offer, it's the only one that you could buy online and get the service and port in and get a discount. With Metro, you got to go to the physical store, you got to pay the activation fee, you got to get the accessories. It's a lot of legwork to get a phone at a decent price. But if you could deal with that, and you want, it's service is good, the prices and plans are pretty cheap. If you could get this phone for free, or maybe even $30, that's going to be awesome, because right now on Metro, and for the most part, the stylus has always been available for free if you port in your number. So I expect this one to be either free or for $30. I don't expect it to be $50. Right now the 5G Ace is for $30 on Metro, so I'm guessing that's what it's going to be priced at. Maybe free when it starts, when it launches on Metro, and then probably later on it's probably going to be offered for, raise it up to like $30. But yeah, it's another, it's the generation of Motorola phones. It's when you have a stylus, when's the next one going to come out? If it had 4G, it's going to come out with 5G. It's just natural, and this is going to be an awesome phone because it stands out a lot, because now that LG is out of the game, Motorola is going to be the sole alternative to Samsung if you want a phone with a stylus and you know, you're gonna get it at a really good price, and you can get it unlocked from Motorola. Motorola's really been good about, if you can get an unlocked phone, it'll work on all the carriers too. So that's been my take, my super early review. I'm gonna be off probably with a couple of things here and there, but for the most part, this is gonna come out soon, and it's probably gonna come out with most of the things that I had mentioned. So thanks for watching, guys. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.